Who's at the Door by Mary Barr. The house was silent. Nothing stirred. Jan, the babysitter, had left earlier than she should. Flix was 4. He sat snuggled in a blanket on the old red settee. Kaylee, at 7, felt very grown up. She sat at the opposite end, looking through the scary witch book Jan had just read. Flix was already in his pajamas, his blonde hair tousled, his face for once shiny and clean. Callie was older and not yet in her pajamas. She sat neatly dressed in her new brown denim jeans and her old pink sweater that once had a glittering fairy on the front, but now only patches of glitter remained. "Cal, there's no noise," Flix said too loudly, making Callie jump out. So? So why is it so quiet?" "Because there's no noise and we were told to sit quietly until bedtime," Callie replied. "But that's the time witches and goblins come inside. The book says so." "It's just a story," Callie replied, feeling uneasy also with the silence. Flix wasn't helping. He'd curled up even tighter inside the blanket. It now almost covered his face. Callie took a deep breath. She felt very grown up and she was in charge. Anyway, Mummy had told her witches didn't exist. They both jumped at the sound. Knock, knock, knock from the front door, loud and precise. "Oh good, Jan's back." Callie jumped to her feet. She ran to open the door, her long, shiny brown pigtails swinging to and fro as she skipped. "Don't open it," Flix called. Too late. Callie had swung the door wide. Blackness hurriedly entered. Swirling on a gust of freezing wind, it blew into the brightly lit house. A loud crackle filled the air as the blackness rose to the ceiling and began whizzing around the ceiling. Flix screamed when the door blew shut. Kaylee stayed where she was, staring upwards, transfixed. He, who ye be?" "Callie," she replied in a tiny voice. The blackness quickly materialized into a black, fearsome witch with eyes as black as midnight, a long, spindly nose covered in warts, thin lips covered sharp, yellow-chipped teeth. She began flying around the ceiling before landing heavily on the crystal chandelier. He, who ye be?" "Kaylee," she replied, trembling. "Who, I say, who ye be, who doesn't believe in witches like me?"